Our big focus tonight, they are perhaps the largest coordinated raids ever to be carried out in India. Premises linked to the Popular Front of India or PFI have been raided across 15 states. Now, over 100 top leaders and functionaries of the organization have been arrested during these raids that took place in Uttar Pradesh, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Assam and a whole host of other states as well. These were carried out principally by the National Investigation Agency, the Anti-Terror Unit, but also the Enforcement Directorate and by state police forces as well. Now, in just the last few minutes, the National Investigation Agency has issued an official statement on these raids saying searches were conducted in 93 locations across 15 different states. These searches were carried out at the houses, the offices of top leaders and members of the Popular Front of India in connection with 5 separate cases. The NIA has also said that the searches were on specific inputs that PFI leaders were involved in funding of terrorism and terrorist activities, and has said these searches were on proof of organizing training camps for providing armed training and radicalizing people to join banned organizations. Well, these are all charges that the PFI denies strenuously, and opinion has been mixed in terms of political parties as well. But let's just remind you first, what is the Popular Front of India? Well, it was formed in 2006 after the merger of outfits from Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. The Popular Front of India says that it works to uplift the socio-economic condition of Muslims in the country, but its roots are believed to be in the radical Islamic outfit, the NDF. Now, the Popular Front of India has been under the scanner of central agencies several times and currently is being accused of terror funding and providing terror logistics.
The biggest ever crackdown on the Popular Front of India and its political arms, the SDPI. Raids by the NIA, India's elite anti-terrorism force across the country. From Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, Maharashtra, Assam, West Bengal, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, over 100 arrests.
ഫാഷിസത്തിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും ഭീരുത്വത്തിന്റെ മുഖം കൂടിയാണ് ഇതിലൂടെ പ്രകടമാകുന്നത്. ഭയപ്പെടുത്തലാണ് ഭരണകൂടം ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ ഭരണഘടനയിൽ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്ന ഒരാളും ഭയപ്പെടാൻ പാടില്ല. ഭയപ്പെടുന്ന പ്രശ്നമില്ല. അതിജീവിക്കും ഫാഷിസത്തിന്റെ ഈ ക്രൂര വിനോദത്തെ. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇത്തരം അനാവശ്യമായ വേട്ടയാടലുകളും അപരവൽക്കരണവും ഏജൻസികളെ അനാവശ്യമായി ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ധിക്കാരവും ഉപേക്ഷിച്ച് രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ ജനാധിപത്യ സംവിധാനത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് ഗൗരവത്തോടെ കാണാനും ഭരണഘടന ഉയർത്തിപ്പിടിക്കാനും ഒരു ഗവൺമെന്റിന് സാധ്യമാകേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഭരണഘടനാ വിരുദ്ധമായ ദേശദ്രോഹപരമായ പ്രവർത്തനമാണ് ഗവൺമെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന വസ്തുത പൊതുസമൂഹം തിരിച്ചറിഞ്ഞ് രാജ്യത്തെ രക്ഷിക്കാൻ സന്നദ്ധമാകേണ്ടതുണ്ട്.
The biggest crackdown in Kerala, seen as the PFI's base. The party's chairperson was arrested from his residence. Other top leaders also arrested, like the Delhi PFI chief from his residence.
उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे मिलना है परवेज साहब से. मैंने कहा कि वो बच्चों को स्कूल लेकर गए हैं. उन्होंने कहा कि मेरे पास वारंट पेपर है, मैं ऐसे नहीं आया हूँ.
क्या क्या ले गए आपके यहाँ से?
मेरे पास 2 मोबाइल लेकर गए हैं और कुछ पेपर वगैरह लेकर गए होंगे. मैं तो इधर.
और भाई परवेज को भी साथ ले गए क्या?
जी परवेज साहब को साथ लेकर गए हैं.
The national headquarters of the PFI in Delhi sealed. Similarly, offices were sealed across the country.
In a massive operation, National Investigating Agency, Enforcement Directorate and various state police organizations worked in 3 verticals and arrested 106 people related to PFI, out of which 45 have been arrested by NIA and they have registered 5 fresh cases.
With the crackdown, protests by PFI cadre across the country. They say this is to harass them and shut them down for political reasons. Asked about the raids during the Kerala leg of his Bharat Jodo Yatra, Rahul Gandhi said there should be zero tolerance for all forms of communalism and violence.
All forms of communalism, all forms of violence, regardless of where they come from, are the same and should be combated. There should be zero tolerance on communalism regardless of where it's coming from.
I don't know, they are misusing the acts, National NIA Act, and they are doing it for quite a long time. So we are against that act. Only under that act they have arrested PFI. Without any charge, this act allows them to arrest all Muslims. The government is misusing it.
In New Delhi, the Home Minister met top officials to take stock of the raids. The Popular Front of India was founded in 2006 with the merging of organizations in several states, giving it a pan-India character. They describe themselves as a Muslim social organization fighting elections via their political wing, the SDPI. Their long-running feud with the BJP RSS, with clashes often turning violent, puts them in the crosshairs of the ruling establishment, which describes them as a terror outfit. Despite such allegations, they have not yet been banned. Now with these wide-ranging arrests, even without a ban, the future of PFI is in doubt. With Bureau Reports, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
The other big story, Rahul Gandhi today making it clear that Ashok Gehlot, who's set to run for the post of Congress president, cannot keep two posts if he wins, which means the Rajasthan Chief Minister's chair is up for grabs. After what is being seen as a public reprimand, it seems Ashok Gehlot could be ready to fall in line.
What we have decided, जो हमने उदयपुर में decide किया, वो कांग्रेस पार्टी का एक commitment है. So I expect that commitment will be maintained.
But there now seem to be many more contenders for the top post in the Congress as well. And let's have that graphic up if we can on our screens. Now, Ashok Gehlot, as we said, now definitely in the contest, as is Shashi Tharoor. But Kamal Nath, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, has reportedly joined that list. And he is being considered and may contest as per sources. More Congress leaders also emerging as possible aspirants. Now, let's go right across to Sunil Prabhu for more on that story. Sunil, with the Gandhis making it very clear that, they are not to be considered, clearly more and more hands going up.
That's right, Ankita. They're making themselves absolutely clear. As we pointed out yesterday, they're staying neutral. They're not going to sign on those nomination forms, either as a proposer, seconder. So that's making a clear distinction that not only Sonia Gandhi, but Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will remain equidistant for whoever contests. And that's the reason why you're talking about Ashok Gehlot, you're talking about Shashi Tharoor, the possibility of Kamal Nath if it is acceptable, even though Mr. Ashok Gehlot has come in the fray. And then, of course, Manish Tiwari, amongst many others. So the dissenters are going to meet later this evening. There's going to be some stock taking, but definitely the build-up has started, and hopefully in the next few days, as the nomination process begins on the 24th, today of course was the official notification, we will see a greater clarity on who all will be contesting, apart from Mr. Ashok Gehlot, who definitely is the front runner in this present race.
Right, Sunil, on the question of Mr. Gehlot specifically, does it now seem as though, he's willing to step down as Rajasthan Chief Minister if indeed he contests, he is going to contest for the top post. Also, that leaves a vacuum in Rajasthan.
That's definitely a big issue, but he has thrown his hat in the race, and he's quite clear that he wants to become the Congress president, right, with Rahul Gandhi making it clear, something that we have said. So definitely a big vacuum that will have to be filled. There is, of course, Mr. Sachin Pilot, who is the top contender, who lost out to Mr. Ashok Gehlot after there were MLAs. Much will depend on the MLAs' views right, that will be ascertained by the Congress High Command. And we'll have to wait and watch and see how things play out.
All right, Sunil, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much indeed for joining us with those details. On to Punjab, where the Aam Aadmi Party government and State Governor Banwari Lal Purohit appear to be on a collision course. The Punjab Cabinet making a fresh recommendation for a special assembly session a day after the Governor blocked that move, which was meant to be for a majority test. The battle also played out on the streets of Chandigarh, with both AAP and the BJP taking out separate marches, both of which were also quickly put to an end.
street protests and marches by both the ruling Aam Aadmi Party and the opposition BJP, as the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab doubles down in its fight with the Punjab governor. Chief Minister Bhagwant Man's government will move the Supreme Court, challenging Governor Banwari Lal Purohit's withdrawal of permission to convene a special session of the Assembly for a trust vote. Not leaving anything to chance, the Aam Aadmi Party government has also passed a second resolution on a special session which it says will now also discuss issues of stubble burning and the power sector. The Maan-led government, which has accused the BJP of trying to poach its MLAs, wants to make a test of strength in its assembly to prove that all its legislators are with the party.
27 ਸਤੰਬਰ 2022 ਦਿਨ ਮੰਗਲਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਧਾਨ ਸਭਾ ਦਾ ਸੈਸ਼ਨ ਬੁਲਾਇਆ ਜਾਊਗਾ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਪੀਕਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਨਾਲ ਬਿਜਲੀ, ਪਰਾਲੀ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ.
The governor, after initially giving his consent, withdrew it later, citing that there is no provision of convening a special session of the Assembly to move a motion in favor of the government.
देखिए, हमारा मार्च सिर्फ शांतमयी मार्च है. हमें कोई यहाँ पे कोई किसी किस्म की कोई वो हल्ला गुला वो मचाने नहीं आए हैं. अगर लोगों के हितों की आवाज़ को कोई ऐसे बंद करके रखना चाहेगा तो वो हम नहीं होने देंगे. हमें विद इन वीक दोबारा से सेशन कॉल करेंगे. उस सेशन में सारी बातें दोबारा से फिर डिस्कस होंगी.
देखिए, जो बिजनेस कमेटी में सरकार उस पे जो आने वाले काम होंगे वो बिल्कुल उसमें रखेंगे. जो बिजनेस कमेटी में उस कमेटी में रखेंगे, उस कमेटी में जब कमेटी की मीटिंग होगी उसमें कौन-कौन सी चीज आने वाली है उसमें सब कुछ.
Opposition parties in Punjab are accusing the AAP government of theatrics. BJP workers were also stopped from marching towards the Chief Minister's residence, while the BJP's former ally, Akali Dal, hit out at Aam Aadmi Party.
ਕੇਜਰੀਵਾਲ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਏਜੰਡਾ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਪਾਇਆ ਸੰਵਿਧਾਨ ਸਭਾ.
After Delhi, the Aam Aadmi Party government has now locked horns with the governor here in Punjab. As the governor's assent is needed to convene the next session of the Assembly, the Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has made his intentions clear that the party will approach the Supreme Court against the governor. In Chandigarh with Mohammad Ghazali, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.
RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat, who's been meeting Muslim leaders in an unprecedented outreach, visited a mosque in Delhi and held a meeting today with Omar Ahmed Ilyasi, the chief cleric of the All India Imam organization. He also later visited a madrasa and interacted with students there.
जो इलियासी साहब है, उन्होंने बहुत दिन पहले पूजनीय सरसंघ चालक जी से मिलकर निमंत्रण दिया था. वो बहुत दिन से पेंडिंग था और इसीलिए उनके निमंत्रण को स्वीकार करते हुए वो उनसे मिलने गए थे. और ये संघ के पूजनीय सरसंघ चालक समाज जीवन के सभी प्रकार के लोगों से मिलते रहते हैं और एक संवाद की जो सामान्य प्रक्रिया सतत संघ के द्वारा चलती रहती है, उसी का एक हिस्सा है ये.
All right, Akhilesh joining us with the latest on that. Akhilesh, this obviously seems to be a part of a larger outreach, but specifically today, a very strong message going from the cleric concerned also, who described the RSS chief as Rashtrapita and said this was sending out a good message.
That's right. In fact, this was very interesting meeting because he, as you just heard, Sunil Ambekar saying that this was sought a year ago and it was pending since then. And today, Mohan Bhagwat actually went to visit the residence of the chief of All India Imam Conference, and that residence happened to be inside a mosque. So the impression went out that Mr. Mohan Bhagwat has actually visited the mosque, but in fact he has gone to meet the imam at his residence. Anyways, they had a very long discussion there, and in that discussion Mr. Bhagwat was told that there are various concerns being raised about madrasas, so why not he go and check what happens inside the madrasa exactly. So this institute also runs a madrasa. So Mr. Bhagwat went to that madrasa and he interacted with the students there. He asked them various questions, including why aren't you reading only Quran and why don't you read Gita also? And apart from that, in which country do you live? How do you know this country? Do you call it India, Hindustan or Bharat? So these kind of questions were asked by Mr. Mohan Bhagwat to all these students. And in fact, we know that the madrasas are making political headlines because BJP ruled Assam it had taken action against these madrasas. Now the UP government is conducting surveys in madrasas. So in that context, this visit becomes very interesting.
Right. Akhilesh, also, given that we're now seeing that these visits have pretty much been happening, or rather talks have been happening for over a month now, and really there's a larger background context to all of this. So if you could remind us of a few details of the kind of conversations Mr. Bhagwat has already had with Muslim thought leaders.
Well, this meeting you are referring to, Ankita, it happened in August, where 5 intellectuals, they had gone to meet Mr. Bhagwat. They raised various kind of questions and the kind of mistrust in the atmosphere which is present in the current scenario. They discussed that thing also, and Mr. Bhagwat of course tried to address all those concerns. So this was kind of a conversation, and RSS sources are telling me that this conversation is an ongoing process. It's a long-term view. It does not happen keeping the current political situation in mind. But of course it raises several questions, because we know that in 2025 RSS will be completing 100 years of establishment. So before that, RSS is trying to reach out to all the Muslim intellectuals, and this also raises a question, Ankita, whether the RSS and the BJP trying to, try to project a moderate Muslim leadership in the country, because we know that people like Asaduddin Owaisi, they are known to be hardliners, and they try to speak on each and every issue concerning Muslims. So the self-proclaimed spokesperson is the BJP RSS trying to project another kind of leadership, a moderate leadership in the Muslims? That's another question.
All right, a larger message obviously in that strategy. Akhilesh, thanks so much for joining us. In other news, the rupee crashed to a record low against the dollar, falling just short of 81 to the dollar. The US Fed rate hike was responsible for the markets plunging as well. Priyanshi gets us details.
Rupee has hit a record low. It closed at 80.87 per dollar, very close to 81 per dollar. It's not just a record low, but the single day fall that Rupee has witnessed is the sharpest in 6 months. Rupee weakened by 89 paise in just one day. Overall this year, Rupee has lost 8% of its value against the dollar. In January, the rate was around 74 per dollar. So in just 9 months, you now need 6 more rupees to get a dollar. Now, what's behind this sharp fall? 3 primary reasons. Number 1, a steep US Fed rate hike. Secondly, escalation of the war in Ukraine. And thirdly, a dollar surge. Let's understand the link. The US Central Bank increased interest rates by 75 basis points for the 3rd straight month, and it indicated more hikes in the future. Now, what's this interest rate? It's the rate that private banks have to pay central banks to borrow money from them. Banks, like any other business, pass on their increased borrowing costs to consumers. So when people like you and me try to get a loan, we also have to pay a higher interest rate. When getting or borrowing money gets expensive, people will naturally have less money to spend, and they'll demand less. This lower demand in the economy raises fears of a lower economic growth. Repeated rate hikes hence increase chances of a sustained low growth or also a recession. The Bank of England, for instance, says that the United Kingdom might already be in a recession. Now, in times when a recession and uncertainty is expected, investors want to keep their money in safe or stable investments. So they park their funds in dollar-based investments and take out money from emerging markets such as India. This naturally takes up the dollar's demand, taking its price up. It takes the rupee's demand down. And since rupee is valued against the dollar, a 2-decade high dollar makes the rupee weak in comparison. Like the rupee, the markets also suffered because of all of this. Sensex lost 337 points to end at 59,119, while Nifty lost 86 points to end at 17,629. So the overall sentiment in global markets is negative after the Fed rate hike leads to serious recession fears.
Prime Minister Modi will be travelling to Japan on the 27th of September. Maha Siddiqui joins us for more details. Maha, this is primarily to attend Shinzo Abe's state funeral. What more do we know?
Yes, Ankita. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be travelling to Japan for the state funeral of Shinzo Abe. He's going to be travelling on the 27th of September. Shinzo Abe was Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister, and Prime Minister Modi and Shinzo Abe shared great camaraderie. Prime Minister Modi, in fact, after his assassination, had said that he's shocked and saddened at the tragic demise of one of his dearest friends. Shinzo Abe, in fact, was one of the driving forces behind the revival of the Quad, the partnership between US, Japan, India and Australia. It was revived in 2017, though the idea was first floated in 2007. And Prime Minister Modi had attended the second Quad summit in Japan in May as well. So Prime Minister Modi will be travelling to Japan to attend the state funeral of Shinzo Abe. Meanwhile, he'll also be meeting the Japanese Prime Minister for a bilateral meeting.
Siddiqui, thanks so much for joining us. Meanwhile, Delhi and the National Capital Region saw rain right through the day for a second consecutive day today, and that's led to waterlogging in various areas and affected traffic movement in key roads across the city. The Delhi-Gurugram Expressway, which you see over here, was flooded. There was immense waterlogging after heavy rainfall in Gurugram, with people wading in almost waist-deep water. And Millennium City's civic problems exposed yet again, even after a spell of moderately heavy rainfall.